Imagine a world where artificial intelligence isn't just some futuristic idea, but it's really integral to our daily lives. Think predictive text, sure, but also the complex systems in finance, healthcare, critical stuff.
Absolutely. And as AI gets woven deeper into everything we do, from like simple conveniences to life-changing decisions, this huge question pops up.
Yeah, how do we make sure these incredibly powerful intelligence systems are secure, really secure? How do we protect them and, well, protect ourselves from totally new kinds of threats?
That's exactly the challenge keeping security pros up at night. Because, traditional cybersecurity measures, they're foundational, yes, but they often just aren't enough for the unique vulnerabilities AI
Right,
brings.
it's like a whole new playing field.
It really is. We're talking about a paradigm shift in security thinking. It needs a new mindset, a specialized toolkit.
And that's our mission today on the deep dive. We're not just, skimming the surface. We're going deep into the practical side of managing AI security.
Yeah.
Specifically, we'll unpack Chapter 3, Part E, Security Controls and Monitoring, from a really insightful AI security review manual we've got here.
And then, crucially, we'll ground it, make it real.
Exactly. We'll apply that knowledge straight away to a compelling case study from the same source material. Think of us as your instructors, maybe, walking you through a critical course, one key idea at a time.
And the insights, they're all drawn meticulously from this expert-vetted manual. So it's structured, it's authoritative, it goes beyond just concepts into, actionable strategies for these nuanced AI risks.
And for you listening, whether you're managing AI projects, building AI solutions, or just navigating this AI-shaped world, understanding these controls isn't just academic.
Not at all.
It's crucial for managing risk, building trust, and frankly, staying ahead in a field that moves incredibly fast. This is practical application stuff, changing almost daily. So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Okay, Chapter 3, Part E, Security Controls and Monitoring. Let's unpack this. So first off, this fundamental idea, AI security is just inherently more complex than traditional IT security. We know how to protect networks, servers, data, mostly. But AI adds these new dimensions of vulnerability. It's not the old playbook.
That's it, exactly. And the why is fascinating. It's the very nature of AI itself.
Go on.
Well, AI brings unique vulnerabilities that traditional security just might not catch. Think about adversarial attacks.
Ah, yes, the subtle manipulations.
Exactly. Tiny, almost invisible tweaks to input data. A few pixels changed on an image, maybe, and it completely fools the AI model.
Like a self-driving car misreading a stop sign.
Precisely that kind of scenario. Or a facial recognition system failing on a known threat. Then you have data poisoning.
Slipping bad data into the training set, right?
Yeah.
Like bad ingredients.
You got it. Intentionally corrupting the training data to mess up the model's future behavior. Make it produce faulty, maybe biased results. And that's not just an ethics issue, it's a huge security and reputation risk. It undermines the AI's core integrity.
These are threats that just didn't exist in the old IT world. So with these new threats, how do existing security controls even keep up? It can't just be applying old rules.
No, definitely not. The manual really stresses that existing controls need serious adaptation. And, critically, we need new ones developed specifically for AI.
And change management comes in here.
A core piece. Robust AI change management processes. Because AI systems evolve constantly, new models, different data inputs, refined algorithms. Security has to be integrated and assessed continuously alongside that evolution.
Otherwise, security lags behind.
Dangerously so. You make sure architecture changes are sound, new vulnerabilities aren't accidentally created. Without that constant management, you leave huge gaps.
And this brings us to that really interesting point you mentioned. AI's dual role, it's not just a target. It can be a powerful security tool, too.
We see AI for advanced threat detection, anomaly spotting, automating responses.
But paradoxically, it's also this massive new attack surface. Attackers are actively trying to exploit it. Can you unpack that strategic dilemma a bit more?
Yeah, it's a compelling paradox. On one hand, AI can analyze data at scales impossible for humans, find patterns, anomalies, great for threat intelligence, fraud detection, even predicting attacks, your best sentinel, maybe.
But on the other hand,
Its complexity, its reliance on huge data sets, its sometimes opaque decision-making that makes it vulnerable to novel attacks. An AI built to detect fraud, if compromised, could be subtly tweaked to help fraud or leak intelligence.
like giving someone a powerful scalpel, as you said.
Exactly. In the wrong hands, immense harm. understanding this duality, it's not just important, it fundamentally defines the whole AI security landscape.
That really frames the challenge. So knowing these vulnerabilities and this dual role, how do we actually build the defenses? The manual gets practical here, adapting traditional cybersecurity with that AI twist. Let's dig into 3.1 security controls.
Right. Figure 3.1 in the manual lays out how controls adapt. It's a multi-layered approach. Technical security, privacy controls, all tailored for AI.
And one of the first things mentioned, perhaps surprisingly, is data quality. Why is that listed as a security control?
That's a great question. Because AI models learn entirely from the data they're fed. If that data is poor quality, biased, incomplete, the resulting AI model could be biased, inaccurate, or outright insecure.
So how do data quality thresholds and rules help mitigate that?
They set a rigorous baseline. Only high-integrity, validated data gets used. Think about it. An AI for loan approvals trained on biased historical data. You won't just make bad financial decisions, it could perpetuate discrimination. Huge legal risks, loss of trust.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bad input, bad output, potentially dangerous output.
Data quality thresholds are your first line of defense against security breaches and unfair outcomes.
Okay, so data's clean. Now, guarding the front door, access controls. This has to go beyond just passwords for AI, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We need stringent access management for the AI data and the models themselves. The stakes are incredibly high.
What about privileged users, admins?
High-value targets. They might have direct access to sensitive training data or be able to tweak model parameters, a compromise there. Data theft, malicious model changes. It's serious.
And third parties, vendors providing AI tools.
Significant supply chain risk. Needs robust vetting, constant monitoring, clear contracts, spelling out security duties, and multi-factor authentication, MFA.
Not just for logging in.
Right. For AI, it's about verifying every critical interaction, especially admin functions, model deployment, accessing sensitive data, prevents unauthorized changes, even if credentials get stolen.
Okay, then there's configuration management. Sounds dry, maybe, but tracking every little change to AI code or deployment, how does that boost safety, especially linked to risk assessment?
It's about maintaining the integrity of the whole AI system, code, models, environments. Every change, documented, approved, auditable. The real power is integrating this with risk management.
How?
Well, say a proposed model update could accidentally introduce a new vulnerability or bias. Linking configuration management with risk assessment lets you catch and fix that before deploying. Plus, you get a vital history for troubleshooting, forensics, compliance. It locks down the AI's blueprint.
Makes sense. Ensuring every tweak is intentional and secure. Let's shift to testing, frameworks, and provisioning controls. Testing AI must be more than just checking if the code runs.
Absolutely. End-to-end testing for AI isn't just about function. It's simulating real-world use, potential attacks across the whole system, from data input to model output. Find failures that component testing might miss.
And scenario analysis takes that further.
Yeah, it explores hypothetical, often malicious situations. How might the AI be misused? What if it malfunctions under weird conditions? Testing for prompt injection in an LLM, for example.
Trying to trick it into revealing secrets.
Exactly. Or simulating data manipulation to see if a fraud detection AI gets bypassed. It lets you proactively find weaknesses, anticipate weird behaviors, build resilience.
This leads right into bias and fairness testing. We hear about AI bias as an ethical issue, obviously. But how does that translate into a security vulnerability or organizational risk?
That's a crucial link.
Right.
If your AI is biased, say a hiring AI favors certain groups, or a loan system unfairly rejects others, it's fundamentally not performing as intended. It's flawed.
So the failure itself is the risk.
Precisely. From a security view, this failure leads to reputational damage, massive legal liabilities, think lawsuits, huge fines, and total loss of public trust. When bias compromises AI integrity, it's a different kind of breach, but just as damaging, maybe more so.
Wow. So testing for bias is a security measure.
Definitely. It helps find hidden biases in data or algorithms before deployment, hardens the AI against these integrity failures.
What about the more traditional stuff? Communication and transport protocols, still vital.
Absolutely fundamental. AI needs secure protocols like TLS-SSL for all data in transit training sets, inference requests, model outputs, prevents eavesdropping, tampering.
And things like encryption, hashing, de-identification.
Applied with renewed intensity because of AI's huge data needs. Data minimization is especially key here.
Only collect what you absolutely need.
Exactly. Reduces the attack surface, limits privacy exposure, more secure by design, less data, less risk.
Got it. And for visibility, monitoring, logging, auditing, access management, How do these give us insight into AI behavior?
They're the essential eyes and ears. Continuous monitoring spots, real-time anomalies, sudden changes in model behavior, weird access patterns that could signal a problem, an attack, or data issues.
And logging.
Comprehensive logging creates that immutable record. Who did what, when, what data was accessed, what decisions the model made. Indispensable for forensics audits.
Auditing itself ensures compliance.
Right. Ensures the AI follows policies, regulations, ethics. Reinforces trust and accountability. Together, they're the backbone of vigilance. You know what your AI is doing.
That clear view is critical. Next, privacy impact assessments, PIAs, and reporting. Why are PIAs so vital for AI, and why is transparency and reporting key?
AI's ability to process vast personal data makes PIAs essential. It's a structured way to find, assess, and mitigate privacy risks before deployment or big changes. Ensures compliance with laws like GDPR, CCPA, upcoming AI acts. Shows commitment to ethical AI.
In the reporting,
Transparent reporting builds trust. Tells users, customers, regulators how data is used, what decisions the AI makes, what safeguards are in place, what rights people have. Without it, confidence just vanishes.
which brings us back to privacy controls, specifically for privileged accounts. You mentioned this ties to access controls, but has extra sensitivity.
It does. Privileged accounts have deep access to sensitive training data, maybe personal info. Without tight privacy controls on these accounts, risk of leaks, misuse, even data poisoning skyrockets. Insurers, even admins, follow data minimization, strict protocols, and are monitored, securing the most sensitive data at its most vulnerable points.
Okay, let's talk data management controls. First, integrity monitoring and change management for AI data itself. Why is that foundational?
Because AI models are literally only as good as their data. Integrity monitoring constantly checks data for unauthorized changes, corruption, inconsistencies. Combined with change management for data pipelines, it ensures any data modifications are tracked, approved, and don't compromise quality or security.
Prevents subtle tampering.
Exactly. Stops malicious alterations that could degrade the model or enable attacks like data poisoning.
What about data optimization, cleansing, and minimization? How do they reduce risk?
Optimizing and cleansing removes errors, noise, redundancy. Improves AI performance by giving it cleaner data, but it also reduces the attack surface. Less data, especially irrelevant data, means fewer exploitation points. And data minimization, as we said, just collecting the essentials, directly cuts the volume of sensitive info that could be compromised. Lower risk, higher efficiency.
Less data, less risk. Still feels counterintuitive for some AI people. And data documentation and modeling. Why is documenting data sources and models so vital?
Think of it as the AI's full instruction manual and history log. Data documentation. Where did data come from? How is it collected, processed, used for training? Model documentation. Its architecture, assumptions, limits, how it decides. This transparency is crucial for audits, debugging, compliance, and understanding why the AI did something. Accountability depends on it.
Need to trace that decision journey. Finally, backup and resiliency. Seems basic, but are there unique AI aspects here?
The principle's the same, but scale, complexity, and value are way higher for AI. Backing up petabytes of evolving data, models, configs, needs sophisticated automated strategies. It's not just about recovering data, but a functional, reliable, secure AI system.
So, comprehensive disaster recovery plan.
Exactly. Plans that cover the whole AI lifecycle. Ensure you can quickly revert corrupted models, poison data, or compromise systems to a trusted state. Minimizes downtime, losses, harm, business continuity for your AI.
Okay, let's shift to AI incident management. Building on traditional incident response, but what AI-specific issues does it need to handle, like model inversion, poisoning?
Right. It builds on the traditional framework, but needs new specializations. An AI incident isn't just a server crash. It could be model inversion, where attackers reconstruct sensitive training data from public outputs.
Potentially personal data?
Could be. Or data poisoning, corrupting data to manipulate the model. Or just misuse of the AI itself, tricking it into producing harmful outputs, maybe for fraud or disinformation. These need specific forensic tools and playbooks.
So having a dedicated incident response plan specifically for AI products is really important then.
Absolutely crucial. Response steps can differ hugely. Containing an AI incident might mean retraining a model, isolating a data pipeline, deploying an adversarial patch things not in standard IT response. A dedicated plan ensures teams know how to handle AI-specific threats efficiently, minimizing the blast radius, speeding up recovery. It integrates AI into the broader framework.
Now, operational and lifecycle controls. Managing AI systems throughout their lifespan. How do data flow diagrams, DFDs, and AI decision-making documentation help with complexity and transparency?
DFDs are great visual aids. They map how data moves through the AI system enters, gets processed, exits, help spot vulnerabilities in pipelines, ensures data governance compliance, shows impact points for data quality issues. Maybe data flows somewhere unsecured. A DFD shows that.
And documenting the AI's decisions.
That's about shining light into the black box, meticulously recording the rationale, inputs, outputs of AI decisions, especially critical ones, vital for accountability, audits, understanding why the AI decided something. Builds trust.
Understanding the data journey and the AI's logic. What about applicable standards and version control? How do they ensure consistency and cut errors?
Standards provide a baseline for quality, security, responsibility. Following them ensures consistency. Version control for code and models is indispensable. Track every change, revert if needed, ensure everyone uses the right approved versions. Minimizes errors, helps collaboration, prevents deploying bad models.
And change management and project management. How do structured processes like Agile fit into secure AI deployment?
Structured change management ensures any modification, data update, model retrain, new features reviewed for security impacts and risks before implementation. Prevents rushed, vulnerable changes. Agile methods, common in AI, need security integrated throughout the lifecycle design, data prep, deployment, monitoring not tacked on at the end. Security by design.
This feels connected to ethical assessment. How does aligning AI with ethics become a security control? And how do things like impact assessments and user consent help?
Ethical assessment is becoming a non-negotiable security control. Unethical AI-biased systems, for example, causes harm, triggers fines, lawsuits, reputation damage. Impact assessments, like a fundamental rights impact assessment, FRIA, proactively spot potential negative effects on human rights before deployment. Forces organizations to address issues like discrimination.
And user consent. Opt-out options.
They empower individuals, reduce privacy risks, data misuse risks. These aren't just ideals, they're pragmatic security measures building trust and resilience. Protects users and the organization.
So, digging deeper into bias management, what are those proactive steps? Rigorous data prep, continuous testing. Tell us more about FRIA and validating training data.
Bias management is ongoing. Starts with rigorous data preparation, finding and mitigating biases in the training data itself, using techniques like cleansing, augmentation, resampling for balance. Continuous testing ensures new biases don't creep in as the model evolves.
And the FRIA.
The Fundamental Rights Impact Assessment systematically checks potential impacts on human rights fairness, discrimination forcing fixes before deployment. A big challenge is validating training data. These datasets are huge, complex from diverse sources, detecting subtle biases, ensuring they represent the target population fairly.
Very hard.
Needs special tools, deep expertise.
Not just finding bias, but actively preventing and fixing it constantly. Okay, let's move to 3.1.1, align AI with security and monitoring tools. The idea is AI shouldn't be a silo.
Exactly. It's a shift from AI as isolated tech to integrating it fully into enterprise security. Frameworks like IBM's Gen AI controls or Google's Secure AI framework guide this. AI solutions get monitored, secured, managed using the same tools as the rest of the IT infrastructure.
For a unified view of threats.
Right. Holistic security, better threat detection, streamlined response makes AI a seamless, secure part of the digital landscape.
Now, 3.10.3 access controls, specifically for AI. We touched on this, but highlight the critical need for tailored controls again. What are the key considerations?
The key is controlling not just who gets access, devs, data scientists, users, but what specific data they can use within the AI and how the AI models themselves access info and systems.
So policies and RBAC?
Definitely. An AI access control policy defines the rules. Role-based access control, RBAC, enforces least privilege access, only what's needed for the role. And continuous testing and review of permissions are vital, especially after model updates. Ensure no unintended access creeps in. Granular control at every layer.
Feels very aligned with 3.10.40 trust, the never trust, always verify principle for AI.
Absolutely paramount for AI. Given its reliance on diverse, interconnected data sources, components, often external or cloud-based, the old perimeter model fails. Never trust, always verify means every user, device, app trying to access AI resources gets authenticated and authorized, regardless of location.
Because AI blurs network boundaries.
Exactly. It interacts with sensitive data, critical systems, operates across environments. Implicit trust is too risky. Assume compromise, build resilience from within.
What are the key components of a zero-trust architecture for AI?
They're deeply integrated. IAM with MFA,
Yeah.
verify every user device interaction.
Yep.
Network segmentation,
Yeah.
limit the blast radius if a breach happens,
All right.
isolate AI components, data loss prevention, DLP, protect sensitive AI data from leaving, user entity behavior analytics, UEBA, spot suspicious activity around AI systems, weird model access, prompt injection
Of
attempts,
incident response.
integrated incident response and remediation, plus security analytics and threat intelligence. Key for proactive defense, rapid response to AI threats, constantly feeding back into that verify loop to strengthen defenses.
Okay, moving to 3.10.5 AI Acceptable Use Policy, AUP. Its purpose and scope.
The AUP is a foundational control, sets the rules for acceptable and unacceptable AI use, guides ethical, responsible deployment, sets clear boundaries for employees, maybe external users too.
What should it cover?
Needs to be comprehensive. Governance for AI use, fostering a responsible AI culture, stakeholder input, devs, users, legal business, and covering all legal and regulatory requirements. Ensures everyone knows their responsibilities, expected behavior, consequences of misuse, reduces risks.
Laying down the rules of the road. And to check their follow, 3.10.6 AI Audits and Traceability. Why are regular audits critical, and how does traceability help decode AI decisions?
Audits are critical for ensuring ongoing compliance policies, regulations, ethics, and detecting anomalies or malicious activity. The challenge is AI's black box nature. Hard to know how it reached a decision. That's where traceability comes in.
Creating an audit trail.
Exactly. A clear trail of the AI's life cycle.
Yeah.
Data origin, model development, testing, deployment, specific outputs, done using meticulous metadata, data provenance records, model versions, changes, and model cards, which standardize info on performance, fairness, limits, allows investigators to reconstruct how a decision was made, boosts accountability, trust.
Next, 3.9.7 Security Controls for the Supply Chain. AI components and vendors. What are the big risks from third parties?
Yeah, this is huge. AI solutions often rely heavily on third-party components, open source models, APIs, vendor services. Introduces significant supply chain risks. A vulnerability or backdoor in a third-party model can compromise your whole system, even with strong internal controls.
Like using a vulnerable open source library.
Or a vendor's pre-trained model that was poisoned. Mitigation means thorough vendor due diligence on their AI security, comprehensive risk assessments of every third-party component, and strong contractual agreements stipulating security requirements, audit rights, incident response obligations. Ensure their practices match yours.
This idea extends to 3.10.8 Shadow AI. What is that exactly, and why is it so dangerous?
Shadow AI is any unapproved AI tool or service used in the organization, often without IT or security knowing. Think employees using public LLMs for work tasks, feeding it sensitive data.
Without understanding the risks.
Right. The consequences are severe. Data breaches if sensitive info goes into insecure public models, compliance violations, GDPR, HIPAA, model leakage, potential reputation damage if these tools produce biased results or errors. It's an uncontrolled Wild West, bypassing all oversight.
How do organizations get a handle on this Wild West then? What controls work?
Needs a multi-pronged, proactive approach. A clear IT shadow AI policy forbidding unapproved AI use for company data. Budget and procurement oversight to channel AI acquisition through vetted processes. IT system consolidation to reduce entry points. Using cloud security access brokers, CASBs, to monitor cloud app usage. And sophisticated network analysis tools, UEBA and data flow monitoring, to spot rogue AI instances. Find and address them before they cause real harm.
Okay, 3.10.9 AI Incident Management. We touched on this, but stressing integration again. Remind us of the core steps and how AI fits in.
Absolutely. The core process, prepare, identify, report, assess, respond, contain, eradicate, recover, still vital. But for AI, each step needs tailoring.
Like anticipating AI-specific threats and prepare.
Exactly. Model poisoning, prompt injection, inversion. Identify, detect AI anomalies like model drift or weird API calls. Report needs clear channels for AI incidents. Assess involves checking if the AI itself was hit, needing AI forensics. Respond might mean rolling back a model. Contain could be isolating a dataset. Eradicate might involve retraining. Recover means ensuring the AI is back to a reliable, secure state with stronger defenses. It all feeds back into threat intelligence.
The human element. 3.11 AI Security Awareness Training. Why is specialized training crucial for all employees?
Because employees are the first defense line, but also a vulnerability if unaware. Specialized training addresses human factor risks, like an employee pasting confidential data into a public AI tool or falling for deepfake. It educates everyone on AI's unique risks, ensuring responsible, secure interaction, turns them into a proactive defense layer.
What should the training cover to be effective?
Needs to be practical. Understanding different AI models, critically interpreting outputs, recognizing potential bias, addressing IP copyright issues with AI content. Crucially, teaching employees to spot and report adversarial techniques like prompt injection or signs of data poisoning, building a human firewall specifically for AI threats.
And relatedly, 3.11.1, addressing AI skills gaps. Why is continuous upskilling so important?
AI evolves incredibly fast, creating skills gaps everywhere. Devs need secure AI coding skills, privacy by design. Deployment teams need secure integration knowledge. Assessors need AI audit, model evaluation, threat detection expertise. Addressing these gaps shows commitment to robust AI governance and security. Without trained people, even great tech controls can fail.
Which leads us to 3.12, continuous monitoring. Why is this even more critical for AI than traditional software?
Because it allows early detection of issues in real time. Security incidents, data quality problems, compliance deviations. Unlike static software, AI models can drift over time due to changing data or be subtly poisoned. Without constant watching, these subtle issues can go unnoticed, leading to prolonged exposure or compromise. It ensures the AI behaves as expected, ethically, securely.
Can responsive technologies help automate this? Any examples?
Yes, they provide real-time insights, automate detection. For instance, systems can monitor LLMs like ChatGPT for prompt injection attacks. If a user tries to jailbreak it with a malicious prompt, the system detects and flags this anomalous behavior immediately.
Allowing for a rapid response.
Right. Blocking the user, maybe tweaking the model, logging it, prevents exploitation before significant harm occurs. Crucial for identifying and mitigating evolving AI threats. Real vigilance.
Great example. Let's dig into 3.12.1 metrics and 3.12.3 controls for AI-enabled security threats, measuring performance. What specific metrics and controls ensure AI integrity and effectiveness?
Defining and tracking key metrics is essential. For social engineering deepfakes, controls include employee training, simulated attacks to test effectiveness, adversarial training. Metrics track knowledge improvement, phishing success rates, training relevance.
And for adversarial models themselves, measuring resilience.
Controls include robust model performance testing under attack scenarios, rigorous data sanitization. Metrics focus on false positive-negative rates and model drift frequency, how often performance degrades unexpectedly. High drift can signal a security or data issue.
Interesting, tracking model degradation. What about traditional threats like credential stuffing, especially if AI is involved?
Controls are strong MFA adoption and moving to passwordless authentication. Metrics track MFA adoption on AI systems, block stuffing attempts against them, and the efficacy of passwordless solutions protecting AI interactions.
Beyond these, the manual mentions broader threat-specific metrics.
Yeah, things like level of preparedness, communication plan updates, vulnerabilities patched. For shadow IT, unauthorized device counts, inventory log coverage. For intrusion attempts, breach counts, frequency, source ID success. For DLP effectiveness with AI data, retention ratios, response times. For AI solution performance, overall false positives, model drift, response latency, all indicators. And for awareness training, effectiveness, engagement, behavior change, retention.
Sounds incredibly thorough. You're not just putting controls in, you're measuring their impact meticulously against specific threats.
Exactly. It's a holistic, interconnected approach. Understand the threat, implement controls, measure effectiveness with relevant AI-specific metrics. Creates that continuous feedback loop for improving AI security posture, adapting constantly.
Okay, fantastic. Let's shift from the theory to the practical now. Time for our case study, Laureate Bank. This is where we see these concepts really come alive.
Right. Laureate Bank Online Financial Services. They want to use AI for critical stuff. Anti-money laundering, AML, and fraud detection. High stakes, sensitive data. The Chief Security Officer, the CSO, is tasked with leading this AI program. Puts them right at the front lines.
Scene set. Big task for the CSO. Let's hit question 1, initial CSO questions. When asked to lead this, what key questions should the CSO ask first to really evaluate the initiative properly? Seems like step 1.
Absolutely critical first step. The CSO needs a clear, full-picture scope, resources, implications before diving into controls. The manual suggests these foundational questions. 1. Does the program include security of the AI solution, using AI to enhance security, or both? Clarifies the scope. Are they just protecting the AI, or is AI also a defense tool for them? Vital for strategy.
Makes sense.
What else? 2. What resources, people, budget, tech are dedicated to AI development and security? Crucial. Without knowing the budget, skilled staff numbers, tech infrastructure, how can they assess feasibility, especially securing it? Under-resourced security means vulnerabilities.
Good point. 3rd.
3. How does the AI program align with third-party vendors and providers, key for supply chain security? Are they building in-house, using external AI providers? Cloud platforms, open source. Each has different risks needing specific vetting and contracts.
Okay, what's next? Risk tolerance.
4. What is the organization's risk tolerance and risk appetite concerning AI? Defines acceptable risk levels. Low tolerance might mean stricter controls, even if slower. Higher might accept trade-offs. Sets the baseline security posture.
And finally, the business side.
5. What is the expected return on investment ROI for the initiative? Seems like a business question, but vital for the CSO. Helps justify the program, including security costs, ensures security aligns with business goals, and shows its value.
That's a really solid set of initial questions, not just technical, deeply strategic. Establishes scope, resources, dependencies, alignment with business goals, risk posture, ensures security is embedded from day one, not an afterthought.
Exactly. Proactive, holistic strategy, not just reacting, views AI security as integral to the business.
All right, on to question 2. Developing the AI Acceptable Use Policy, AUP. Leadership vision's clear. CSO starts drafting the AUP. What info is most helpful for guiding this policy?
This focuses on practical inputs for policy writing. The manual's rationale is clear. First, existing information security policies. This is most useful. Why? The AI AUP shouldn't be isolated, integrated with established security culture and existing policies, provides evidence of practices, ensures consistency, leverages familiarity, bedrock stuff.
So build on what's already there. Makes sense. What else?
The second, technical information on AI models. This is useful. Understanding Laureate Bank's specific models, their type, data needs, unique vulnerabilities helps tailor controls. If a model is prone to prompt injection, the AUP needs guidelines on safe prompting, informs how security applies to their tech.
Okay. Stakeholder input.
Third, stakeholder feedback. Also useful. Talking to employees using the AI like AML analysts, IT, legal compliance, business units, crucial. Ensures the AUP considers practical usage, impacts, implementation challenges. Collaboration fosters acceptance, makes it enforceable.
And financial projection.
Fourth, financial projections. Least useful for drafting the AUP content. Crucial for strategy and justifying the program, yes. But they don't directly inform behavioral guidelines or usage rules. AUP is about acceptable use, not profitability or budget.
Yeah, you can see the logic. AUP is about usage and behavior, so existing policies and stakeholder input on practicalities are much more relevant than financial data. How people interact with the AI, not its ROI.
Precisely. Setting rules of engagement for the AI, ensuring secure, responsible operation, not analyzing cost-benefit. Different purposes.
Okay, final question for Laureate Bank. Question 3. Reviewing the cybersecurity program for AI relevance. Draft AUP exists. CSO reviews the current cybersecurity program. What areas are most relevant to AI security, focusing just on cybersecurity aspects? How do existing defenses need to adapt?
This highlights how traditional cyber needs to expand for AI's unique traits. Most relevant areas according to the manual. 1. Data flow prevention strategies. Absolutely relevant, critical. AI in finance handles vast, sensitive data. Existing strategies like data loss prevention, DLP, are crucial, but must be extended and configured for AI data flows into, through, out of, models, and data lakes. Protect that financial info.
2. Legal and regulatory.
Highly relevant. AI brings new legal complexities beyond basic privacy laws, ethical duties, human rights impacts, specific rules like the EU AI Act, financial regs. Cybersecurity must ensure compliance. Security pros need to know these legal nuances. They directly shape controls.
3. Data privacy and security itself.
Paramount. Highly relevant. Overlaps traditional cyber but gains huge importance with AI's scale and sensitivity. Needs additional specialized controls for AI data stores and models, advanced encryption, strict dataset model access controls, robust anonymization, beyond typical application security.
And finally, integration with older systems. Essential. Relevant. AI rarely works alone, especially at established places like Laureate Bank. Integrates with legacy banking databases, CRMs, ERPs. Cybersecurity must rigorously assess and secure these interfaces and data exchanges. Prevents new AI risks spreading to older systems. Ensures data integrity across the board.
That really pulls it all together. Shows how existing cyber knowledge must expand for AI's unique challenges, data scale, legal shifts, ensuring interoperability isn't the weak link.
It really emphasizes AI security isn't a new silo. It's a profound evolution, an expansion of existing cyber principles for AI specifics, interactions, risks. The CSO's job is bridging that gap.
And that wraps up our look at Laureate Bank. Wow, that was quite the deep dive today. We covered a huge amount navigating the real complexities of AI controls and monitoring. To recap, we looked at the unique challenges of AI security, how it's different, why new and adaptive controls are essential. We detailed the sheer breadth of those controls, technical things like data quality, access management, but also crucial operational processes like AI incident response, change management, and importantly, how ethics, especially bias, ties directly into the security posture.
And we saw how vital it is to integrate AI security into existing cybersecurity programs, not treating it separately. Applying zero trust, managing shadow AI, securing the supply chain, it all needs a holistic view, driven by continuous monitoring and solid metrics.
In understanding these elements, it's vital for you listening. Whether you manage AI, build it, or just use it, this knowledge is your shortcut to being well-informed and really to contributing to a safer, more reliable AI future.
So here's a final thought to chew on. As AI systems get more autonomous, embedded deeper into critical decisions affecting us all, how will concepts like human oversight and AI explainability evolve, especially with these increasingly complex, sometimes opaque models? What is your role in ensuring responsible AI stays core, even when the tech gets harder to fully grasp?
We really encourage you to reflect on that. Think about how these principles apply to the AI you encounter or work with every day, and keep doing your own deep dives into this incredibly important, fast-moving field.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay secure.